Justin Baldoni was suspiciously absent from a whole lot of the photos at the premiere of his own movie that he directed, It Ends With Us. You know, the movie is called It Ends With Us, and seemingly this drama just never ends, and the details keep pouring out all over the headlines. The It Ends With Us premiere was held at New York City's AMC Lincoln Square Theater on August 6th, 2024. Little did we know at the time that Blake Lively allegedly forced Justin Baldoni, the director, and his dream team to
you just know there's a group chat named Dream
his
Team
dream
too.
team into timeout in a basement of the theater the entire time
Very
that she was on the carpet. The purpose of which, she wanted Justin Baldoni as far away from her as possible. So for the entire time that Blake Lively was taking photos and doing interviews on the red carpet, Justin Baldoni was forbidden from entering the room.
The movie he directed.
To celebrate the release of the movie that he directed. And regardless of how stupid I think the movie was, and how stupid I think Justin Baldoni is, and how stupid I think Colleen Hoover's book that it's based on is, that is clearly unfair.
Yes.
And he should not have stood for that at the time. I'm sure that he felt he had no choice but to obey her demands. And at that point, he even admits that him and his team were just laughing about the absurdity of it all.
Yeah. I could see it being one of those things where they're all down there, the door closes, there's kind of an echo in the room, and there's like a 3-second pause where they hear just the blades of a fan whirring, and they all just start laughing at how insane it is.
They're like, please, help, help. And the photographers kind of hear him screaming in the distance, and they're like, okay.
Should we play this clip?
Yeah, well, I want to tell you first that I don't know where this voice note came from or how Megyn Kelly got her hands on it.
It's real journalism.
Megyn Kelly hasn't explained how she received this voice note from Justin Baldoni. Neither has Justin Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Friedman, but his lawyer was doing an interview on her show the other day, and she unveiled this never-before-heard voice note where he's talking about this experience of being locked in a basement by Blake Lively, the Hollywood mean girl.
All right, here we go.
Speaking to what he called his dream team, lamenting the fact that he was put in the basement on the premiere of his own movie, he says, per Blake's demands.
Could have been one of the most beautiful nights of my life career-wise. I literally was sent to the basement.
I'm trying to, so were people calling his voice into question? Because remember, Olivia made me watch all of Jane the Virgin, so I've heard this dude's voice extensively. I guess it sounds like him.
I think it
all
does.
My friends and family for over an hour. I wasn't allowed to be seen. She didn't want me anywhere near her or the rest of the cast. We start laughing because of the ridiculousness of this whole thing. And I realized, like, on a night that was supposed to be so materialistically joyful, I was in the basement with the people that I love the most, and we were all joyful and laughing. Because none of that shit matters. We're in this business because we're artists.
Cope.
And we believe in what we do. And I believe that will follow each of us, and that truth will prevail, and that light and love will win.
We have here exclusively
So,
Justin Baldoni.
Okay.
after Megyn Kelly revealed that voice note to her audience, Variety reached out to Blake Lively's representatives for comment, and they just directed Variety to their earlier statement from her legal team stating Lively's serious claims of sexual harassment and retaliation against Baldoni are backed by concrete facts. And we haven't seen any of those yet.
Yeah.
What I failed to mention when we first covered this is a detail I actually hadn't come across yet. Blake Lively actually filed a civil complaint against Justin Baldoni before a lawsuit ever came forward. She filed this complaint in a way that would keep all of the details private. And then, as far as I can tell, Blake Lively and her team were the ones who gave the entire thing to New York Times.
Yeah.
Because they wanted all of the press that a lawsuit would give her without all of the stakes.
Yep.
You know?
They didn't want to have to reveal the details
Yeah.
to anybody. They just
Yeah.
wanted to be able to get the headlines they wanted.
And they just wanted to selectively reveal the details that they thought made Blake Lively look the most like a victim.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously Baldoni had no choice but to fire back. I think, you know, is there like some kind of blackmail ring in Hollywood run by Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds that like makes these people so afraid that they had to release statements in support of her day one?
I wonder if it's that or if it's just when you've been in the industry long enough, you know how quickly and how fast things can go wrong. Very, very, very fast. If you don't, it's like when they talked about the release times of all of this stuff on a Friday night so that nobody can respond. Well, you know, and it has to sit over the weekend and lose traction on all these things. I think the saddest part out of most of these stories is like people will still read this stuff. And then it always comes back to what it means for either the battles between the genders. And these people live in such an absurdly different reality from us. I mean, it sounds like he lives in an absurdly different reality, even from her. Right? Like the dude who's a blue collar actor who probably spent a lot of the money he has to buy the rights to this book because he's a male feminist and he believes in telling the story is very different from the very, very successful wife of a billionaire who is perhaps one of the most powerful producers in all of Hollywood.
Right.
Right? Like they live such different lives. And I kind of wilt at the idea of expecting people to not understand that. Like, come on.
My read on Blake Lively as an individual, if I'm going to armchair psychologize her, is she's kind of like any supervillain that's like constantly neurotically going through all of the people who might be preying on their downfall. The funny thing about this whole situation is that she filed her complaint in December against Baldoni because she just naively assumed that he orchestrated all of the online hate against her during the summer.
She did.
Yeah, she thought...
Maybe somebody with that personality who would do something like that would then automatically assume that another person... It's projection, right?
She's like, oh, there's no way that people online organically hate me. Yeah. It must be orchestrated. It must
That's a complex.
It must be him. But you have to blame somebody.
Yep.
She probably already hated this guy. And she just decided to scapegoat him for all of the hate that she was receiving, deserved or not. She's had some bitchy interviews. Big deal. Everyone was going to forget about it within 2 seconds.
Yep.
And then she had to revive all of this.
Yep.
And now people are never going to forget. I'm not seeing anyone on her side in the court of public opinion now.
A far bigger deal now than it was when it was just, look at, she called this lady fat.
All because like she had to point the finger at somebody.
Yeah.
Instead of just letting it die down on its own. And it already had.
Maybe the idea should be she just doesn't even need, like, you're like, they got kids, right? Like, you got kids. Yeah. Just be a mom.
She like actually just had a baby.
Yeah.
So why don't you focus on that and not on what
it's
people
also
are commenting on your Instagram?
The whole thing about him asking her weight. It's the idea that when you look at the story from both perspectives, they see just something completely different.
But that's actually what happens.
She's feeling persecuted, and he's like, "Look, my back. I threw my back out, so I need you to tell me how much you weigh."
I think it's hilarious because that's actually the pattern of what happens when a male feminist earnestly tries to meet the demands of feminists.
He's doing what they're asking.
Yeah,
and they're,
treat me like an equal.
Yeah.
Don't treat me like I'm this delicate flower that needs to be catered to emotionally at all times. I'm your colleague. I'm your equal. Treat me as such. Yeah. Don't act all precious and scandalized by me breastfeeding in my trailer. Okay, but when he actually takes her at her word because he is a true believer male feminist.
Yeah. She's used to
it backfired on him.
She's used to them faking it.
Yeah, never do that. Never go full male feminist.
I mean, I don't know. Does she have a history of feminist statements? I don't know.
Oh, she's the kind that pays lip service, of course. But I believe Justin Baldoni is like wholeheartedly a true believer feminist. Yeah. And that's why it came back to haunt him at the end.
It's also why I just didn't trust anything he had to say from the very beginning, because the best rule you can follow, especially in Hollywood, maybe even more than anywhere else, is to never trust a male feminist, even though it seems like he's getting the short end of the stick.
And
on this one.
that implies that he shouldn't even trust himself. So,
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.